So first off, big shout out to Dan Eyes Blue, who commented on my AEW video saying he did see me at For the Love of Wrestling. It was very cool that someone is like aware of me. That stuff is not lost on me because I am just a guy. I am just a guy, and it's really like cool that people are aware of me and stuff like that. So big shout out to you for noticing. And then a little bit more housekeeping if you are watching this video. I am going away on Monday, so I will not have my setup if anything happens, if anything breaks, if I need to do a video, because I will not have the camera, so it might be a little smartphone-y video. But with that out of the way, let's talk about some convention goodness. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about For the Love of Wrestling, the biggest wrestling convention in Europe that I was fortunate enough to attend yesterday, because I'm recording this on Sunday, and it was really fun. I've been to one of these before, I did a video on it, and it's really fun. I like talking about this stuff, I like conventions, I go to Comic-Cons, all that good stuff. I could walk around, much to my girlfriend's displeasure, I could walk around like stalls selling action figures literally all day because I think it's cool. But enough of the rambling. Let's dive into this. Let's dive into my thoughts, my overall experience at For the Love of Wrestling. Before we do, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below. If you were there, let me know your experience. I want to know how everyone else got on, because this is going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool to talk about, because I actually have an interesting story about how I ended up there this time. I was not planning on going For the Love of Wrestling because I'm going on holiday on Monday, and I was like, you know what, going on holiday, it's our anniversary, need to save money. But then I was in the cinema, I was watching The Brutalist. If anyone's seen it, I don't rate it. It's very, very long and very, very dry. But I came out and I'd won tickets to For the Love of Wrestling. I had won tickets from ITR, and they tagged me. They sent me a message saying For the Love of Wrestling will be in touch. We'll send you the tickets. I got sent the tickets, and I was like, oh shit, looks like I'm going. So I went. I went on the Saturday, and it was really fun. Really fun. It was packed. This is way busier than the last time I went. I think the last time I went was 2 years ago, if I do remember correctly. It was rammed. Couldn't get a parking spot on the car park. Had to go like down a road. But it was rammed. There was so many people, so many cool cosplays, cool Fiend, cool Seth Rollins, cool Mick Foley, and Dude Love. So many cool cosplays immediately as I walked in. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do this year. Because the last time I went, I had a photo with FTR, I had a photo with Adam Cole. And I was like, I'd really want to have a photo with Mick Foley, but circumstances did not allow that. That being money. But I was like, we can have a look around. So overall, walked around the stalls. We did some cool stuff, cool art, really cool fudge. The fudge was amazing. I had the chocolate orange fudge. I'm going to try and find the person who sells the fudge, and their link will be in the description, because the fudge was amazing. We had a chocolate orange one. It was so good. And yeah, we just kind of like soaked in the atmosphere this time. 2 years ago, I went for 2 days. I didn't do the 2 days this time. But the one day, I got to see all the Q&As that I wanted. I got to have some tasty hot dogs and just sort of soak in the atmosphere. And the atmosphere was so chill. It didn't feel hectic whatsoever. And I just loved it. I just love conventions. They're so cool. I liked seeing the progress stuff. I had a photo on the WCW ramp. The WCW ramp was like one of the coolest things that wasn't there last year. I really rate... I keep saying last year. I didn't go last year. I went 2 years ago. But the coolest change for me was, I think the layout was so much better than when I went 2 years ago. Because the structure of it when I went, they had the MMA thing as well, which was in like the room where all the stalls were, and all the stalls and all the wrestling and the Q&A was in the big like main room. But spreading them out really made it like, okay, there's a Q&A in here. I'm not necessarily interested in like listening to that Q&A. Not for me. I'll go in the other room and look around the stalls again. And I really liked the way it was laid out. It was laid out really, really well. In terms of my favourite Q&As, I really liked the Breezango one. That was one of my favourites that I wanted to attend. The Sabu one was interesting. I think from the angle I was sitting, I couldn't really make out a lot of what Sabu was saying, but it was cool to see Sabu. And then obviously my favourite one was Mick Foley. Mick Foley is like, he's top 10, maybe even top 5 favourite wrestlers of all time. His match with Edge is one of the main things that got me into professional wrestling. His character, his persona, everything about Mick Foley, he's one of my favourites, and his Q&A did not disappoint because he's a great speaker. We can obviously tell he can articulate things because he's like an 11-time bestseller in terms of his books and stuff like that. I got a video of him coming down the ramp. It was awesome to see Mick Foley, and that was easily one of my highlights. I absolutely loved it. Now, probably the part you've all been waiting for, but you went to all these stores. What did you buy? I bought 2 things. 2 action figures for my backdrop over there. I haven't filled in the space, so you can see that space behind my head. That's where one of them goes now. And that space there, right there, that's where the other one's going for now. But I saw 2 things that I really wanted. We'll start with this one. I don't know how the light's going to be for this because it looks quite light. I use natural light, you see. And when it gets to about 5 o'clock, sun goes down and I look a bit sketchy. It looks a bit funny. So I'm hoping the light is fine with this. But the first thing that I picked up, because these are cool, and she's one of my favourite wrestlers, and there isn't an AEW figure of her somehow. So Tony Khan, Jazzwares, please get on that shiz. I hope there's no kids watching. But yes, it's the NXT TakeOver figure of Ember Moon. I didn't even know they did this. But as I was walking around and saw the stalls, I saw they had a few. They had Ember Moon, Shinsuke Nakamura, Roman Reigns, Alexander Rusev, and Asuka. I think they were the only ones I saw. And I was debating which one I wanted to get. It was between Ember Moon and Shinsuke Nakamura. But I was like, Ember Moon, for me, is like, she is my NXT Women's Champion because she was... Asuka was still there when I started watching, but Ember Moon's win was the first takeover that I watched. Or went, because Asuka vacated it. And then it was the 4-way. I think it was her and Peyton Royce and 2 other people. And Ember Moon won that. And she's like cemented herself as one of my favourites. The Eclipse is one of my favourite moves ever. And Athena right now is just amazing in Ring of Honor. So yes, I got that. I love the box as well. I'm an action figure, nut, as you can probably tell. And I just like the box. I like all these. These might be a new obsession that I try and get, these NXT ones. Maybe not the Roman Reigns one, but I definitely wanted it. It was between that and the Shinsuke one. So I kind of wanted the Shinsuke one. And the other one that I bought, I'm so happy I got this. This was the first thing I bought. I was literally in there for about an hour and we went around the stalls first. And I saw this and I was like, oh, I'd forgot about this. But then I realised how much I wanted it. And that is the Ringside Collectibles Walter. The light shining. Walter, look at him. Look at that. That right there. If my camera focuses in on it, because it's focusing on my face. There we go. Walter. Because I love British wrestling. You can probably tell from what's come up on my channel that I'm a big fan of British wrestling. NXT UK was a big part of that. It was so easily accessible to see guys like Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and Walter, and his historic NXT UK Championship reign, that I have tried my best. I want to get the 4 NXT UK champion figures with their belts. I have Tyler Bate with the NXT UK Championship. I have Ilya Dragunov with the NXT UK Championship. Now I have Walter with the NXT UK Championship. So I'm missing a Pete Dunne. I couldn't find a Pete Dunne with an NXT UK Championship at the convention. He's next on my list because I want them all together. Those are my boys. Those are my pinnacle of like NXT UK. And yeah, I'm so happy I could get this Gunther because it's really cool. Walter. He's Walter in this. He's my boy Walter. And it actually triggered something. I went back and watched, because it's on the WWE Vault, I watched the NXT UK TakeOver match between Tyler Bate and Walter from NXT TakeOver Cardiff. Jesus Christ, those matches are so good. NXT UK TakeOvers were so unbelievably good. And yeah, Walter, picked up my Walter, and I'm happy about that. I am happy about that. And yeah, overall, I think For the Love of Wrestling was just a blast. It was just a blast. I'd love to go one where I have like a lot of things booked, where I can like be like, I've got like 5 photo ops with people, but sadly not, unfortunately, because I'd like a photo with Mick Foley. I would have liked a photo with Sting, but then I walked past and I saw Sting was £70. Like, Sting is what it is. But yeah, it was a blast. That was my experience at For the Love of Wrestling. I hope you've enjoyed this rambling nonsense, but I want to know what you guys had a blast with it For the Love of Wrestling as well. Let me know down in the comments and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support and have a nice day.